helping you solve the retirement puzzle. Welcome to The Retirement Solution with John Hicks.
I'm not sure how much you were keeping up with all of the games going on in China.
I watched a bunch of it. Surprisingly, and I say I watched it, I wasn't sitting down, but it was on in the background. I pretty much had it on in the background the entire time it ran, which I enjoyed.
I really have gotten into all of the different skiing and snowboarding, all the tricks that they're doing, because what it's become versus what it was when, I was a kid growing up in the 80s watching it versus now. It's amazing what some of these people are doing.
Well, I mean, 2 or 3 weeks ago when we still had ice out here, I was out there on my on the cover of my pool doing curling. I thought, why not? I mean, I know that those guys, and there was one guy, you probably know what I'm talking about. He was the USA curling guy. He's got a burly mustache and this long hair. He looks like he just came out of the back of a biker bar in Michigan. And he's like, I'm going to go out back and curl some, boys. Bring me a six-pack and I'm going to make my way to the Olympic team this year. But just to think that guy is a U.S. Olympian. I don't know if he medaled. I didn't pay attention to that. But I was just thinking that being the poster child for the Winter Olympics for the USA says a lot about us.
There is a sport for everybody, John.
Yes, there certainly is.
There's something for everyone. All right, well, let's talk about the medals then, because...
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize this until I read this article that we're getting ready to talk about. There are actually bonus checks given to the athletes when they win different medals.
Heck yeah.
So a gold medal in the United States earns the athlete about $37,000.
All right.
Silver medalists get about $22,000. Bronze medalists, $15,000.
All right.
But wait, there's more.
Okay.
They don't have to pay taxes on any of that money.
Ooh, no, hold on. There's some weird caveat about that, isn't it?
No. They
you
don't,
sure?
unless they make more than $1 million a year.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
Sean White's over here going, you can keep your medal money. I have my snowboarding business. I'm worth a gajillion amount of dollars. Fine.
Absolutely.
But for the average athlete, most of these people are making regular people salaries. They have regular people jobs, regular people families. A lot of them are celebrity athletes.
I remember thinking I think it was a couple years ago. If you look at like Home Depot and Lowe's and FedEx and UPS, those guys they employed a ton of Olympic athletes because it could be like flexible work schedules where they could kind of work things out, and they understood, okay, these folks are going to be training during these 3 months, so we'll load them up with work in these other seasons or these other times because it'll be good for them and it'll work out. And so I just remember thinking, man, what does one of these Olympic athletes make? And I think it was FedEx that said, we pay our Olympians really well. They get about $50,000 a year. And it was like, man, they are busting their hump every day, no matter how many hours a week. And they basically only have $50,000 to support them. Guys, that is love. That is passion for a sport.
It's
especially curling. Now, I don't know. Curling, on the other hand. I would try. Maybe if they had darts. If they had Olympic darts, that is what I would
That would be your sport?
Yeah.
I think that they might. Darts. Like I said, there's a sport for everyone.
But I think there's a bunch of drunk Irish guys out there that could beat me with no question, blindfolded, throwing backwards. That ain't about that there, Sonny Jim. What you think about that there? Ooh, no gold medal for you. I like them lucky charms.
What a dart medalist gets in bonus? Probably nothing. They're like, we'll pay your bar tab. Like, that's all you're getting.
That would barely pay for the bar tab. Barely pay for the bar tab.
You don't deserve the bonus check. But this idea of getting, in some cases, a $37,000 check that you weren't anticipating.
Yeah.
It plays into the advice and insight you're able to offer folks in your office, thinking about somebody who perhaps gets a sizable bonus check from their job or maybe comes into some unexpected inheritance that they didn't know they were going to get. How should somebody treat coming into some unexpected wealth?
Yeah, so it's interesting. There's a whole bunch of different philosophies on this. One of the ones that I've read over the past years and I've told people about is essentially the 50-30-20 rule. And this happens, with a lot of things. Whether you get, I know that a lot of UPS people in management, they get the MIP, which I think is the management incentive, plan or something like that. And they get those annually, if they're in management at UPS. And a lot of us, we get bonuses, from time to time, 15, 20 grand. So the one thing that I read, and I thought it was a great idea, is called the 50-30-20 plan, where whenever that bonus is, let's just say it's $10,000. 50% of that you save, period. So 50% of that, so you're putting $5,000 away right out of the gate, no matter what. Okay. So then we get the 30-20. 30 is the percentage of the amount, so $3,000 in this example. You pay down debt if you have any debt.
Okay.
And then 20% is what you just blow. You just have fun. You want to get a, new hot water heater because that's fun. I don't know why. I just thought, hey, have some fun. Get yourself a hot water heater.
Maybe a hot tub.
There you go. Hot tub. There you go. But basically the idea is it doesn't hurt anything if you're saving 50% of that money to completely blow that 20%. And, and I've seen this done, a lot of sports professionals, if they end up getting a big signing bonus, they will subscribe to a lot of this because a lot of these athletes, Shaun White, man, the kid's going to retire 35 years old.
Yeah.
Now he's got his own, line of snowboards and he makes millions and millions of dollars a year, but basically 35 years old, he's not going to be doing this sport, much longer at all, not outside of the Olympics, even.
Right.
So when you look at that, to think that if someone got a signing bonus, like one of these basketball players at U of L or UK, they get $1 million. If they saved $500,000 of that, that's a good starting point. And then they get 30% to pay off debt, and then they get 20% they can blow. So it's really hard to go buy one of those new Mercedes Maybachs for $900,000 or whatever these young basketball guys are paying if you're only going to spend 20% of that bonus. But how wise would that be? I think if anyone should have taken heed to this, it would have been Anton Walker. Of course, the UK basketball player who made like $80 million in his playing career and basically is bankrupt for the most part.
It happens. You see it happen to a lot of professional athletes.
Sure. So the idea is with anything, if it's kind of a gift horse or if it's kind of a bonus, a true bonus, you really want to pay attention to, how you're allocating those dollars because it makes a big difference in the long run, I think.
It makes a big difference for a lot of people, as you were saying. It's how you allocate it that can show how long that difference can run for any one of us. And having a little bit of a plan, taking a little bit of responsibility can make it much more worth your while.
I was just thinking, we're talking about bonuses or, winnings or stuff like that, for that 50-30-20 rule. But realistically, a lot of folks and a lot of us, all of us out here are really going to have the opportunity potentially to have an inheritance. And I think an inheritance is another really good example of something that, frankly, it could last a lifetime if you plan for it correctly. And I actually had a client that came in a few months ago, and we were talking about it. They had actually gotten a sizable inheritance from an aunt that she did not even know that she was in the will. And we're talking a sizable inheritance,
really?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the estate had already settled the tax bill. So my client was going to get this basically $400,000. The taxes had already been paid. And she was just like, John, this is amazing. This is going to change a lot of things for me. And in her mind, I could already see her eyes. She was already thinking, man, I'm going to put this new kitchen in and I'm going to upgrade my Toyota Camry to the new one because I like the side spoiler on it and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. She'd already done that in her mind, and I just asked her, I was like, hey, what do you think, since you didn't expect to have this, what do you think is the best use for these dollars? Is it something that you want to spend, or is it something that you want to make this, maybe you can retire 2 or 3 or 5 years earlier? What do you think? And then all of a sudden, a different light bulb clicked on. A different light switch clicked on for her. And she said, oh my gosh, you're saying that I could potentially retire 3 or 4 or 5 years earlier than we thought? Well, absolutely. And so we talked about the 50-30-20 rule where 50% of it you'd completely save, 30% would pay off some debt, 20% of it though, she could absolutely have all the fun she wanted. And if you think about that, guys, if you think about that, to spend almost $75,000 for fun, she realized, man, that still covers that kitchen remodel. And her car was paid off with that second piece of the puzzle. So it gave her a lot of freedom. And the majority of the money was saved for her retirement. And so in doing so, by being shrewd and smart about how she did her planning, we are, at least right now, expecting that she can retire about 4 years earlier with a new kitchen, paid off car, and she's got a couple vacation funds already established. How cool is that? That's the gift that keeps giving, Clark, all year round.
Have questions for John? Drop us an email at retirementsolutionradio.com.
J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Integrity Financial Planning Inc. is licensed in your state, please call 502-690-5635. J. Hagan Capital Inc. is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through John Hicks, NPN number 2293473.